when Austin Matthews' contract expires and all the speculation starts to arise about, hey, what if he goes home to Arizona and they're still playing in this venue? I mean, I know it's just this, I know it's just an arena, but like I wonder if that would be enough to kind of turn him off from even going home in the first place.
It's going to be an interesting one, right? Like he has 2 years beyond this one on his contract. And it's just too soon. Like we're just guessing.
Of course, absolutely. This is pure speculation. This is pure speculation. Like I'm not trying to get you to be like, give me a concrete answer. Like this was, you could almost say this is a bit trolling than anything else.
Right. But if he was sitting here with us, I bet he doesn't even yet know exactly how this is going to play out because I know he loves playing in Toronto. Like I don't think that's absolutely like that's not a made up thing. He's been on a great team basically since he got here. I mean, he helped make it a great team in the first year, or at least a good team from what wasn't a good team. And they've become a great regular season team. Scored a ton of goals. Like he clearly likes the spotlight as a guy, and you know, playing for a team like the Maple Leafs helps give him that spotlight. You know, they made him one of the top paid players in the league. And so like I think they've treated him fairly. So I do think that there's definitely a world where he stays in Toronto. But let's see what happens with the team. It's sort of, you know, I don't want to liken it to my own job decision of last summer, but like the truth is you have to get all the information you get before you make that kind of call. And you know, he's going to be able to pick his spot at that point in his career. I mean, there's not a team in the league that wouldn't want him if he became a free agent, if he was willing to become a free agent. You know, I would think it's July 1st, 2023. Well, assuming July 1st is free agency in 2023, but July 2023, when the Maple Leafs can officially sign him to an extension 1 year out from the end of his deal. I would think unless something crazy happens between then and now, they're going to be showing up to his agent's door with a massive offer on that day. And, you know, we'll kind of see how this goes down. You know, I think there's probably only 5 or 6 places Austin would play, though. Like, I think that some pretty clear things would have to be met there. Like, they got to be able to pay him a big sum of money. Like, because Connor McDavid signed longer term, I actually think Austin will become the next highest paid player in the league because I think he'll vault him on that next deal at least. You know, it's going to have to be either kind of a cool city or maybe an under the radar cool city. Like I'm not saying it has to be New York or LA or Toronto, but like I think it's got to be somewhere kind of cool. I think it has to be an organization where when he's signing that contract, he feels like they have a chance to compete for Stanley Cup. You know, in the near future. It's not to say that they have to be absolute cup contenders in that moment, but there has to be like the right collection of young players there where you're joining something that's going to be good. And we'll go from there. But, you know, I don't know if Arizona can get there in time is sort of what I'm angling you here to, because I mean, we could all understand what they're doing with their rebuild. Like they have a crazy number of draft picks in the 2022 draft. I think we'll see them move some of those picks to push the draft picks back. Cause like, you don't want to make, I don't know what the number is, 15 picks in 2022. Like, I think you want to spread it back. You know, they're still talking about maybe trading guys like Jacob Chychrun. I mean, you're getting, what are they getting in that trade? Future assets. So like, they're going to try to get on the path to building something great, but can they do it in 2 years where they make that a place where, as much as Austin is so proud of where he's from, he still spends his summers, a lot of it in Scottsdale. His parents still live there. You know, can they make it a situation where he really wants to join that in time? I think it's going to be tough. That's not to say it's impossible, but I think it's going to be tough. So, you know, we'll see. This is going to become a big storyline. Like, it's funny. It's not really discussed much in Toronto yet because it's just far enough off. You can't really advance the story anywhere. But after the end of this year's playoffs, no matter what happens for the Leafs, I think it will be a talking point for the next year leading up to July 2023.
That's a very good point, and I'm very glad we got that jump on that storyline. July 2023, folks, put it in your calendar. That's when we'll really start to know if Austin Matthews wants to stay in Toronto or go to Arizona or some under-the-radar cool city like, I don't know, Tampa? Would you want to go to Tampa? No. You know what? It's a moot point. Maybe. Depending on what their salary cap situation is like, I guess.
I have to be clear. This isn't information. This is
not information.
This is like understanding. I think I have a good understanding of what it could look like or what it would have to look like. And like, you know, I'm just thinking somewhere like Nashville or, you know, just somewhere where like the cool thing about Nashville, of course, is like it's an awesome fan base, great place to live, no tax state in the US, Tennessee. like I'm just saying, if that team was in a spot, and who knows, like 2 years is an eternity. Like the Montreal Canadiens, and I'm not kicking them, but like they were in the Stanley Cup final in July, and they're in
You can
last
kick
place in
them.
the NHL.
They're bad.
But they're in the last place in the NHL as we get to February 1st. Like it's like not even close to a full year later. Like things move fast in pro sports. And so it's hard to project out which teams will be cup contenders still by 2023, 2024 when he's making this decision. I actually think if the Leafs keep managing themselves right, they should still be in that conversation too. You know, I think there's a real world where he stays in Toronto. Like I know that it seems like there's like a lot of people that like to whisper like he's gone. I don't buy that one bit. I actually think if the Leafs remain competitive, if we ever get fans back in the building here, like I don't want to beat on this every week, but like if the world gets more normal, if it gets exciting, if they go on a playoff run, I mean, he's already like top 10 in goals all time by a member of the Leafs. Like he could go down, for sure he can go down as the greatest ever Maple Leaf. And you know, we're talking about 100-plus-year-old franchise.
Right.
You know, I think we'll see how long John Tavares plays. I'm certainly not pushing him out of the league, but Austin Matthews would be the next captain of the Leafs if John Tavares were to retire or, you know, move on for whatever reason. Like there's a lot of strong selling points here. And I do think he really genuinely loves the organization and the city. It's just, you know, you also only get one chance in your career to think about going somewhere else at his age while he's still on top of his game. And so, you know, you have to at least, I think you have to sort of entertain all thoughts. You know, you don't want to make any big decisions. And the good news for him, like literally he's got 17 months before he even has to make that decision. So it's, again, that's another eternity. Maybe the Leafs have won a cup by then. Maybe they've been beaten out of the first round and the team's been blown up. Like, you know, there's a lot of different ways this could go.
Or what about a team like Colorado, which of course will have to deal with a superstar of their own and their contract to have to deal with. I'd forget when Nathan McKinnon's contract expires, but he's probably on the best value contract in the league. You got a guy who's making just like a shade over $6 million, but the Avalanche are really good. And I know McKinnon's been out of the lineup for the last little while. They're on an 18-game home winning streak, by the way. Again, the whole Matthews thing, we'll probably get into way more detail how many months down the line. This is just me trying to transition over to the Avalanche being as good as they are. Like, I look at them right now and I see the pieces that they have in place. Like, they might be good enough as they are to make it to the Stanley Cup this year. And who knows if they're able to manage themselves correctly in the next 2-3 years, they could continue to be a cup contending team. But right now, what do you think of this Avalanche team? What do you think of them as we are pretty much at the midpoint of this season? Are they the best team in the NHL right now? Like, what do you think of them?
For sure. Current form. I mean, how are you going to look at their record and conclude otherwise? You know, did I see right that they're 15-0-1 in January alone?
That's insane. There are teams who have not had 15 wins this year.
Yeah, but also think about it. They played 16 games in a month with 31 days. Like, they played more than every other night and lost one game, and it wasn't even in regulation.
Insane.
Like, that's mind-boggling. You know, they had a bit of a slower start to the year than we expected. Remember, they dealt with COVID. They had some injuries. Like, you know, it took them a little while to get their legs under them, I think, and get to live up to sort of the status that, you know, a lot of people were predicting them to win the Stanley Cup. Mm-hmm. You know, when it was September, October. You know, I see them as right there. And look, they've been building at this for a while too. And I think that they're going to be one of the aggressive teams at the trade deadline. Like, it would not surprise me at all if, you know, we've heard talk of Claude Giroux going there. Like, I think that they'll be willing to sort of push all the chips that they can into the middle of the table. They're at, you know, they're ahead of the Leafs, but they're in a similar spot as the Leafs because, like, they, you know, your window, it doesn't always last forever. I mean, Pittsburgh had some down years between those 08 and 09 Cup final appearances before they got to 2016 and 17, right? Like, they had to retool a lot of the team. Like, that's what teams like Colorado and Toronto will eventually have to do, because it's not just McKinnon that needs a new contract, right? Like, you've got an extension kicking in for Makar. You know, it's going to be a constant, you know, stressor on that team. Like, you know, Nazem Kadri is having the year of his life. Like, I think he's 2 points off his career high, and he's played 40 games. You know, a guy who's been in the league for 10 years. He's to call this a career year is understating how much better or more productive this season has been than any other one. I mean, he's likely gone in the summer. And so the challenge will always be to have the right players around the top guys on these type of teams. And yeah, I think the Avalanche are it. They actually played one of the best games I saw in all of January was a game between the Avalanche and Leafs, where the Leafs went ahead and Colorado came back and won the game. It just, like,
great game.
You know, Matthews had 2 goals in the first period. It was like a really dominant, and then McKinnon pushed back and his line was like, it was a fun, awesome game on a Saturday night. And so, you know, I think that I have both of those teams as in the top 5 in the league right now. And if you want to put a bet down somewhere, I think you could do a lot worse than picking the Avs to win the cup.